You're listening to the Signal Daily.
Hello, I'm Manaswini, your host for the Signal Daily podcast. This is the episode for 10th May 2024. For our first story, we are looking at the rising popularity of Uniqlo's crescent-shaped bags and how the Japanese brand aims to capitalize on the trend, turning it into a fashion statement. And in our second segment, we are talking about the challenges in India's aviation industry. Just a month after Vistara pilots staged a mass sick leave, now the cabin crew of its sister company, Air India Express, is following suit. Stay tuned till the end to learn more about the reasons behind this development. Once again, a viral TikTok video has worked its magic, turning a product into a global sensation. And this time, it's Uniqlo's mini shoulder bag that everyone's craving for. I'll admit, even I couldn't resist. I had to snag one for myself. But for those who haven't seen it yet, well, just imagine a bag shaped like a banana with multiple colors and priced at nearly $20. The company says it's been selling out repeatedly over the last couple of years. So yeah, it's in high demand, quite literally flying off the shelves. And like I said, it was a TikTok video that played a huge role in its rise to fame. In the 42-second clip, a girl was seen unpacking her banana-shaped bag with things like lip balm, snacks, wallet, keys, heck, even an EpiPen. The video blew up, making the bag incredibly popular worldwide. It even earned a spot as one of the trendiest accessories of the year in List Index Year-End Fashion 2023 list. So clearly, people love it for its sleek design, abundant space, and a reasonable price tag. That's also why it's earned the nickname the Millennials Birkin. And now it looks like Uniqlo is gearing up to make the most of this hype. But wait, hold up. Doesn't the story sound a little familiar? You know, like when Stanley Cups became a sensation after that TikTok video of one surviving the fire? Those sleek, colorful bottles became all the rage, with sales skyrocketing. We actually even talked about this on the show last year. Do check out the episode in the show notes for the full scoop. Now, what's apparent is that user-generated content, or UGC, seems to have more credibility and influence compared to endorsements from influencers and celebrities. But circling back to the glorified fanny pack, according to a Bloomberg report, Uniqlo is aiming to make this everyday bag a fashion icon. Now, the real question is, how is it exactly planning to pull that off? Well, by adding soft pastels and introducing new fabrics like crochet, corduroy, and faux leather, moving away from the original nylon and expanding beyond the initial 10 colors. Plus, it had partnered up with Finnish brand Marimekko for a limited edition collection earlier this year to give its iconic round mini shoulder bag a fresh twist with the Kiewit print and trendy shades like light grey, dark grey, and ochre yellow. Bloomberg also reports that Uniqlo is eyeing more such collaborations to supercharge its growth. While there's currently no public data on how these bags have affected Uniqlo's finances, Fast Retailing, which is Uniqlo's parent company, reported profit growth in the first half of the fiscal year. And this growth was reportedly attributed to increased sales in the US and Europe, reflecting the success of its global expansion strategy. Plus, these bags are especially popular in the US and in Paris. So I guess it explains it all. But I can't help but wonder if we could be witnessing the rise of the next it bag. For our second segment, we are going to bring you deep dives on stories from the world of technology, business, policy, and anything that leaves you with food for thought. Fasten your seatbelts because India's aviation industry is going through some serious turbulence. From employee strikes to delayed salaries and aircraft stuck on the tarmac, it's a major disruption in the skies and I'm sure an inconvenience in your traveling plans too. Let's unpack the situation one problem at a time. So for starters, Air India Express, the low-cost arm of the Tata Group's Air India, has found itself in the midst of a storm. Cabin crew members resorted to mass sick leave on Tuesday evening, leading to flight cancellations and delays across the airline's network. And to be precise, over 100 crew members called in sick altogether, which resulted in the cancellation of around 90 flights. The situation escalated to such an extent that Air India Express was forced to terminate the services of 25 senior cabin crew members in a bid to resort order. The airline reportedly sent out termination emails late on Wednesday, alleging that the coordinated sick leave was an attempt to disrupt its services, which it argued violated both general laws and the airline's rules as well. However, now the situation seems to be a little under control. Those 25 cabin crew members have been reportedly reinstated. But what's pretty clear is that airlines' employees aren't too thrilled with how things are being handled by the current management. But the question is, why is that the case? Well, the bone of contention lies in the disparity between the salaries and allowances of Air India Express crew members and their counterparts at Air India. In fact, in April, the Air India Express Employees Union, representing around 300 senior cabin crew members, took their concerns to Tata Group and Air India's chairman, N. Chandrasekharan. The union alleged that the airline's management was disregarding experience and merit and instead hiring outsiders over their own skilled staff. And to top it off, they weren't happy about the cut in cabin crew pay after the merger with Vistara. And this employee dissatisfaction mirrors what happened with Vistara exactly a month ago. Pilots staged a mass sick leave protest, resulting in over 100 flight cancellations and delays. The issue? Well, it's pretty much the same story. Vistara pilots were unhappy with the new contracts offered during the merger, which saw a decrease in fixed pay and an increase in flying-related incentives in their salary packages. We even covered this story last month, so do check out the link in the description in case you missed it. Let's face it though, airline mergers, especially when it involves integrating staff, can be quite a challenge. However, while the merger was expected to wrap up by next year, employee discontent might slow things down. Now, while Air India Express is contending with internal unrest, SpiceJet is grappling with financial troubles. The low-cost carrier has been struggling to meet its financial obligations, resulting in delayed salary payments for its employees. According to a Twitter post by an aviation journalist at The Hindu, SpiceJet sent out the email to all employees explaining that the delay was due to urgent financial commitments required for fleet augmentation, expansion, and mandatory operational expenses. Speaking of financial troubles, about a year ago, GoFirst, previously known as Go Air, stopped flying and declared bankruptcy. And a year later, it's still stuck in a prolonged resolution process with no planes in sight. The big question is, why can't the grounded airline take off again, despite multiple interested buyers and funding attempts? Govindraj Yatiraj, founder of our parent publication The Code and the host of The Code Report, asked aviation legal expert Nitin Sarin about this. And according to Sarin, there are two main reasons. Firstly, the costs incurred during the grounding are in foreign currency, causing significant daily losses. Secondly, the airline insolvency process is just too slow, taking months or even years to sort out. Airlines need a quick turnaround, ideally within a week, but once grounded, it's tough to recover, which ultimately leads to even more financial trouble. So will those GoFirst flights you see parked at the airport ever take off? Well, that's $1 million question. Until then, I guess all we can hope is that our flights don't get cancelled. If you like listening to The Signal Daily, please show us some support. Rate us and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We'd love to hear what you have to say about this podcast. So feel free to shoot an email at hello@thesignal.co. The episode was researched, written and produced by me, Manaswini, edited by Venkat Anand and Shortbury, mastered and mixed by Yash Hirve. You can catch this podcast every morning on Spotify, Apple, Amazon Prime Music, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. We are thesignal.co on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter.